Welcome to the Imperial Grandstand. I'm Alan Imperial,
I'm Carlos Del Rosario.
and today we're going to be talking about this awesome website we found called Medium.com.
Medium.com. Yes.
Yeah, and this is written by Keith Wilson about 2 weeks ago. Is Star Trek fandom really divided across generational lines?
Yes.
Now, I was an economics major, so I just love graphs. Thank you, Keith.
And by the way, we're not talking about Star Trek Generations, the seventh movie. I
We
can
will be
understand.
talking
We
about them.
we will be. Yeah. I mean, I like parts of it, maybe not all of it, but it's like it's all right.
What
But
this is all about is saying what age groups like which Star Trek.
yes,
Now, he has a pretty good hypothesis
yes,
saying that, oh, depending on the first Star Trek you saw, that's probably going to be your favorite. It's a good hypothesis.
it's kind of like Doctor Who, where maybe the first Doctor you see it's the one that you grow attached to. But
Yeah.
there's it's his hypothesis is more or less true, but there's some nuance to it.
Yeah. Now, he has a pretty good raw data. He has a pretty good methodology.
Yep.
And I think here it is. This is the important bit right here. At the beginning of the month, he asked 3,589 people to respond, and he breaks it down from the silent generation, which is over 73, baby boomers, Gen Xers, millennials, which is our group, and Gen Z.
Gen Z. Yes.
Now
Yes.
he does actually mention problems with it for his study, saying that not enough silent generation and the Gen Z are a little too young to actually use the website.
Yeah. Yeah. There are only four respondents for the Silent Generation. Those are people over 73, and I'm guessing they don't do a lot of Star Trek
They don't
internet.
they're not on Medium.com, but with
No.
our help they will be.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So yeah, here's the breakdown. Like I said, most of it's us,
yeah.
22 to 37,
Hmm.
prime demo, and leading the pack. Now,
Yeah.
surprisingly, for me, it's like, oh well, you have people younger than 22 and people in the baby boomers about the same.
About the same. Yeah. Yeah.
So here he's just talking about all his data,
Hmm.
and he defines it. He actually talks about the animated series, and I've never seen that.
I've seen some episodes. It's actually quite endearing. Like it just gets into some weird territory, but it's worth a watch if you're a Star Trek fan, if you like the original series. It's
Okay.
and the animation kind of reminds me of Archer. So
Really?
yeah, and they actually did a thing where the they dubbed an episode of Star Trek with
Archer?
with Archer. So it's like Captain Kirk yelling at Uhura, Lana, Lana.
That's amazing.
So
So, all right, I have to stream it.
yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah, it's
But
probably on like Hulu or whatever,
yep,
or Adult Swim.
it's,
Anyway,
you'll find it.
yeah. So here it is. So Keith actually asked the question, "Oh, what's your first series?"
Yeah,
And
so this is the Silent Generation, people over 73.
yeah,
Only four respondents, so maybe not the best sample size.
yeah, totally skewed because it's
Yeah, and
like you only have four people, so huge swings.
yeah, and of course their favorites, their first series would be TOS.
Right.
I mean, that makes total sense.
And
And
it's actually split amongst their favorites between the animated series, original, and TNG.
yeah,
Now, I'm surprised that they just don't like Voyager.
and then I think after Voyager, they just stopped.
They're like, nope.
No more Star Trek. This is the end. Thank you. But again, only four people.
Yeah, so.
So, but yeah. Out of these four people, two of them have TNG as their favorite. So
Yeah.
that's interesting. I like that.
Now, for the boomers,
The Boomers, yes.
most people saw the original first. Some saw TNG. And it's like, oh, wow, some people started really late with Voyager and Enterprise.
What I find interesting is that no one starts off with the animated series. It's like that came out at their time, but when they're kids, but they didn't watch it. That's just odd.
They might have had taste. Where it's like, oh, this looks like garbage. Ah, this looks like Archer.
Yeah.
It's ahead of its time.
I know, but it's so interesting because they'll go for 3% of these people. maybe 10 people. It's like they skipped all of Star Trek, and when they reach the age of 30, it's like, oh, Star Trek.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll watch the TNG.
All right. Now, what's surprising is that this isn't 95% for their favorite being the original series.
Yes.
It's like, oh, it's clearly the winner, but
Yeah. And that makes sense. It's like they watched it when they were young, and yeah, it holds a special place in their heart.
yeah, but nipping at their heels is TNG.
TNG. Yeah. And what I find interesting is at the time when TNG was out, it's like there was such backlash. It's like, oh, you can't. It's like there are no original series people. It takes place 75 years. And I'm like, there were some vocal people that really disliked the Next Generation, but apparently, it's won them over. Only 3% have it at their least favorite,
Yeah,
and those people are probably not too smart.
I'm not going to judge people's
I will.
tastes.
I will judge you. Ugh.
There you go. I'm just going to say that
I am calling you out.
I'm just going to say that whatever you were drinking, I want to share because how is that your least favorite?
Yeah, for 3%.
Yeah,
So
it's
10 of you really dislike TNG.
right. Now, I just want to know. I just want to know why is there such a battle in DS9
There's always
between
battle in DS9.
ah
It's called the Dominion War,
ah
and it's awesome.
it is awesome.
But this is I find interesting. They're kind of split on it,
Yeah,
where it's like it's higher than I thought it would be, like at 16% because a lot of the old school Star Trek people don't like DS9.
DS9 I think is the most polarizing of the Star Trek if you grew up with it or if you know the history because this is where they literally said, "Oh, Gene's dead. Rip, rest in peace." But yeah, Gene's dead. We can finally do war and we can finally do things where the crew doesn't like each other because that was
It's
actually in the Bible, in the Star Trek Bible, that
yeah.
all the crew members have to like each other.
Yeah, yeah. Roddenberry didn't want to interpersonal conflicts,
He,
but
he thought we would grow out of it
thought
by
we'd
the
grow out of it.
24th century.
I mean,
The effing hubris.
the Great Bird of the Galaxy had a lot of great ideas, and I think some writers on TNG did exceptionally well without interpersonal conflict in the crew. But it's like, for drama, it's like it's kind of important.
Yeah, but no surprise, Discovery,
The-
or this is going to start a trend.
yeah.
Well, actually, the Silent Generation never made it here,
They never made it there,
but
but
Discovery
yeah,
is clearly the least favorite amongst the boomers.
yeah. So they yeah, let's go into Voyager a little bit. They kind of like Voyager more than I thought, and
A
yeah,
lot of people thought it was the whole they're coming back to their form of yeah, it's just a space adventure every week,
yes, yeah,
and it's like I get that.
yeah, yeah. It's real interesting. And Enterprise, yeah, I could see why that could be your least favorite series. It doesn't start off that strong, but then again, a lot of Star Trek shows don't start off that strong, and it is the let me count this. One, two, three, four, five, six. The sixth spin-off of the original series. So it's decades of Star Trek, and the franchise, it was fatigued.
Yeah.
So I get that.
Now, something that I want to highlight here is that all are equal.
Yeah.
All are equally good, not equally bad. And it's like, all right,
Okay.
there's just some there is like 30 people out there who are just like, "Oh, this is great." And it's like, "Okay, I'm really happy for you people because you just enjoy it all." And it's like,
It's
"I wish I could do that."
it's like Star Trek is Star Trek.
Yeah.
Okay. Good for you. I like that. I like that thinking. That's interesting. But
They just want to go to the stars and meet aliens. Respect.
yeah.
So that's actually my biggest surprise. Where it's like,
Yes.
wow, people just don't want to make a decision
Yeah, but they yeah, I think Discovery takes the cake here
in
with
the least favorite.
25%. That's actually a very
Yeah, that's
very large group.
75,
Yeah.
yeah, about give or take. Now, Gen Xers,
Yeah, this is
my sister's generation,
yes, yes.
uh, And it makes sense why some people would see the original series first,
Yep,
and some would see TNG.
exactly.
I would think I would think that it would swing a little closer to 50-50, but no.
No, okay, yeah.
So and people are just like they're like, all right, fine.
People who are late to the party,
Yeah,
like
they're just like
DS9 and then Voyager. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure.
now clearly we have a winner of the favorite.
Yeah, it's gonna be TNG hands down.
Now I
And
would think that they would like TOS more, but no.
no, no, no.
It goes to DS9.
Goes to DS9.
It's a
Ooh,
great sequel.
ooh, yeah. So they probably grew up with TOS and the movies.
Yep.
And like us, we have fond memories of the original series, but to me, there are only just a handful of really, great episodes, and it's like, I
A
could,
lot of them have data for me.
yeah,
And LeVar.
yeah.
Actually, no,
I'm sorry, I
LeVar's.
meant for the original series.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. I've only seen like 10 or 15
yeah.
episodes.
No, I haven't seen the entire show, the entire run. Yeah, and I have fond memories of it, but I'm like, no, it doesn't. I love the characters, but it's not the show that speaks to me.
Ah,
So
now something that is a clear loser is going to be Discovery at 28%.
even higher,
More,
28%,
yeah,
and even more people. Well, less people, but it's up there. Enterprise at
yeah.
23%.
Now Gen Xers have a more nuanced view
Yeah,
because it's like no. 4% all equally good. And we have 1% all equally bad.
all equally bad. I think that's the same. To me, that's the same. as That's the same as all equally good. I'm like,
Yeah?
but they're all equally bad. I mean, that's basically the same.
One's an optimist and one's a pessimist.
Yeah,
Bada bing.
basically the same. Voyager is a bit more nuanced because TNG is their favorite with only 1% disliking. So yes,
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
yeah, you're smart, Gen
Yeah.
X.
And I think this audience definitely didn't want to have the what is that? Spaceship exploration of the week where we meet a different alien.
Yeah.
There we go.
But more people dislike Voyager than like it, and it's only 2%. But yeah. I mean, Voyager, it's you could argue that's polarizing as well. I have fond memories, but then again, I was like 14 when I saw it, so it's like I really dug it. It was made for like a 14-year-old boy. So if you're in your 20s and watching Voyager, I'm like, yeah, you may not like it as much as I did.
Yeah. Man, I just can't believe I tolerate the salamander episode.
Oh yeah, Threshold.
Yeah.
Oh, it's one of the best. Oh, TP
Don't
Turkey
don't
Platter. Tom Paris. He goes to warp 10, and then he turns into a salamander, and then he takes Janeway.
And then Janeway abuses her power as Captain Salamander.
She also becomes a salamander, and then they have salamander children.
Just and Janeway is like, how do you know she didn't initiate? I'm like, ooh,
Ooh, yeah. All right.
just that's your takeaway of Voyager.
Yeah, there we go. It's one of the most notable episodes. Threshold.
Yes.
Great. All right, so down to us. 2,000 respondents. So
Yeah.
this is over half. This is 55% of all respondents.
So we're gonna answer it personally, Carlos.
Yes.
What was your first?
Oh, my first was TNG.
Nice.
Yeah, I was probably 6 when I first saw it.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. My first is actually the original series because we had Nick at Night, and
Yeah.
my grandparents just were like, "Oh, we're watching this."
I did not have cable as a kid, so there you go.
Yeah.
And
And it was great because my grandparents were like, "Oh, this is the future," and it was like, ah. So I started there, but I only saw a handful of episodes because it's Nick at Night.
Yeah.
But I've seen every episode of
Yeah,
TNG.
TNG was insane when I was younger. It's just every week. It was ubiquitous. It was everywhere.
Now, for your favorite,
Oh,
there's different criteria here, and Keith couldn't flesh it out in his survey. So, gut reaction, what's your favorite?
TNG,
All right.
TNG.
Uh, I understand. I get it. But my gut reaction is going to be DS9.
Yeah,
Because
I can't blame it. And
the
it's,
last 3 seasons of DS9 perfect television when I was growing up because every week it was on
Here,
and it just told a story that was complex.
here's the thing. It's to me in my head. It's like the battle between Bones and Spock. Like there's the intellect who's like, yes, clearly DS9 is the superior show with its writing, blah 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 blah, and its arcs, and then it's like Bones is like, no, I'm all emotional. It's like, what's, and it comes down to when I think Star Trek, what do I think?
Yeah, and
And it's always going to be TNG for me. But
so
that's a totally biased opinion. There's no logic behind it.
so my favorite show is definitely going to be my favorite written show is going to be DS9. But if you had to ask what Star Trek is Star Trek, I got to choose the desktop, and this is the desktop I chose.
Yes.
So clearly, I think I if it's an fornicate, marry, kill.
Oh, I like how you said that. Wow, we are getting around the YouTube, aren't we?
Yep, we
Yeah.
are. Fornicate, marry, kill. Um, I would fornicate with TNG all day, every day, but I'm marrying DS9
I get that.
and Enterprise. You're getting airlocked.
Getting air. I gotta say, you should watch at least the last two seasons of Enterprise.
I couldn't make it past the first two episodes,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I tried, and
Yeah.
it just didn't.
All right,
It
well,
did.
internet, if you want to harangue Alan, there are some amazing episodes. Like every Star Trek show, to be fair, most of them anyway, TNG, DS9, Voyager, they take around 2 seasons to warm up,
Yeah.
and then by the third season, they start hitting their stride. Yeah, they do hit their stride around the third or fourth season.
So,
So,
internet. Listen, if you're actually listening and you got here, what are 4 episodes of Enterprise that I could watch in any order that will make me a fan? Because I don't know.
Mirror Universe.
What? Oh,
It's trust me, you'll like that one. It's a two-parter.
I'm asking the
It's great.
fans
All right.
if we have any.
Yeah. But yeah, let's go back to the charts here. So, all
So,
right.
so leading the pack again in least favorite is gonna be Discovery.
Discovery. Now, this is something I did not expect. TOS, 19%. All right, you know what, people?
Least favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you got to show some respect, I got to say. It's like it was a different time. It was like over 50 years ago. It's like to me it's like I don't even judge the first series.
You know, I think a large part of that is they're watching it on their really big television, and really should just be watching it on like a 10-year-old laptop with a bad screen because that like a 10-year-old laptop with a bad screen is a better quality than the televisions they had in the 60s. So if you want to like watch it in the way it was intended, I'm not going to tell you to buy a CRT or
Yeah.
a tube television.
Well, they did upgrade the a lot of things, and I think it's actually easier to make it HD because they actually shot on film and they edited in film
Yeah, they didn't have
versus
tapes.
versus TNG, which was shot on film but edited
They
in
transferred.
video.
Yeah.
Transferred, and it took a Herculean effort for it to be put into HD.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
But original intent.
but yeah, the original series to me, it's just
It's sacrosanct.
yeah,
To,
it's like no, you do not touch a hair on the original series.
how dare you?
It's like how dare you? You just it's look you look forward, you look to Enterprise or Discovery, but you leave TOS alone.
You know what? How about you throw the animated series under the bus? If you don't want to throw a live action under the bus, fine, just go animated series. There you go.
Yes, but oh my God, look at how many people dislike TNG and DS9. Very few, very few.
So 1% of 2,000 is 20.
Yes, if
What?
that, if
What?
that.
He might be rounding up, correct. He might be rounding up, the survey taker. So I want to know what these people were thinking when they said least favorite.
Like
I want
I
to
think
pick their
they
brain.
I think they hit it by mistake. Oh crap! I didn't mean to hit TNG. I meant Discovery. What?
Possibility, possibility.
And let's Voyager. Yeah, again polarizing. Yeah, very close, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
uh, Eked out least favorite versus versus the favorite,
yeah,
and it's just like yeah,
and
just
yeah,
one of those shows that you love it or you hate it.
Enterprise. Um, yeah. There's more of a drop off there,
I'm sorry, Scott Bakula.
and yeah, more people dislike it.
Yeah,
Uh,
and at the time of writing, I think Picard had 2 or 3 episodes out at the time, so
yeah,
I'm not even looking at those
yeah,
percentiles.
like anything past. I don't even count short treks in here. Those are just short films that are just on the internet. It's like watching YouTube videos. I don't anything past Discovery. I'm not really
Judging yet.
judging yet. But yeah, again, people really dislike Discovery. That's the winner at 32%.
Yeah. Now, this is for people under the age of 22,
Under the age of 22.
and
Fair amount of people, 334
I'm
respondents.
super surprised that their first series for a lot of them is just like me, TOS.
Yes.
And it's like, did you discover this yourselves?
Yeah.
Were you just like, oh, I like Star Wars. Let me find out what Star Trek's about. Like, how did a third of these people, 100 kids?
You know what? It's a lot of things. One is, the Star Treks are all in syndication,
Yep.
and that helps. It's like, oh yeah, Spike TV at one point that was all Star Trek.
Yeah.
Um, Also, 2009, the Star Trek Abrams movie that reinvigorated the franchise. It probably got more kids into it, and
Hmm.
I'm really thankful for that.
Oh yeah, because they had the time divergence.
Yeah. So a lot of the kids they watched TOS first,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh wow, that surprises me. They
Yeah.
went back and they watched it, and then a
Because
lot of them
I would think these kids would be seeing Discovery first.
first, yeah, that's a
And
good
it's
point.
like, no, Discovery is actually the least, the show that's watched first the least, not including Picard because literally just came out.
Yeah, and a lot of them started with TNG. So
Most of them, or
our
the
yeah,
major minority.
yeah, and our thinking is streaming. It's got to be streaming. It's on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, so they can watch.
Netflix is huge with TNG.
Yeah, literally hours and hours of Star Trek at a on a whim
I
on their
know,
phone.
I know. When I got Netflix, the first show I looked for was TNG, and it's like, oh, I'm watching every episode, and then DS9. So
Yeah. Now, and you know what? I have nothing but respect for these kids because a lot of them start with TNG, and then they go to DS9. They didn't do DS9 first. You got to watch your TNG before your DS9.
this 4% would probably somebody else was watching it and they were forced to because they're kids. Like this wasn't their first choice.
Yes.
But respect, because it's like, yeah, if you start here, you're fine. If you start here, you're fine.
Yeah.
Anywhere else,
You're
it's like I could get why you see Voyager
yeah.
first if you want to see a one-off.
Voyager's fine for your first series. I mean, you don't need a lot of continuity.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, they're out in the Delta Quadrant. That's fine. But this is where it gets interesting because I would expect them to really like
Discovery.
Discovery because that's supposed to be their show. That's marketed to them.
Yeah. Because
Um,
they're the age when I saw,
yeah,
you know,
but
DS9 and TNG.
but apparently they hate it. It's 33%.
Only 1% calls favorite. So that's like 3 kids.
Yes, but
Wow.
let's see here.
So a third of least favorite. That's 100.
Yeah,
And let's see, with 77% of the vote, we have TNG and DS9 because on the couch we have the same debate.
yeah,
And these kids,
like
no writing.
yeah, and it's basically the same as the millennials and maybe as far back as the Gen
Boomers.
Xers.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
we
Xers.
all have like similar opinions on TNG and DS9.
Yeah. Look
It's
at that.
yeah,
Like again, 1 and 2, 1 and 2,
razor thin,
and 1 and 2.
razor thin,
And-
amazing. It's like we are passionate about TNG and DS9, and I really love that DS9 is finding it's a new audience and it's relevant to these kids, and it's the show that works best in streaming, I'd
It
say.
is serialized.
Yeah,
They actually had a plan thanks to the creator,
yeah.
JMS.
Okay, you
No, that was a terrible joke.
that's Babylon 5. If you didn't know, but yeah, Steven Ira Bear
Yeah, Ira
or
Bear. Steve
yeah.
Ira Bear. That's right.
Ira Steve, something like that, and of course Ron D. Moore, who later on um, did a
Battlestar
Battlestar
Galactica.
Galactica. Yeah, an incredible show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna mention that at the time of Enterprise, one of the reasons why I just couldn't get into it was because like Star Trek wasn't the only sci-fi show out there at that time. We had Farscape, we
Yep.
had and later on we had Battlestar Galactica, and it's like this is way more interesting than Enterprise.
Yeah.
At
And
least the first two seasons. I mean, there's some
maybe they get better.
there are some great episodes in the third and fourth series of Enterprise, but oh man, you got Farscape and and uh, Battlestar Galactica.
Now, for me,
Yeah.
it wasn't about having other options. It was seeing the quality and just being like, and not the quality of the other shows.
Yes.
It's the quality of Star Trek as a whole because the writing on Voyager was like, oh, this is not serialized anymore like it was with DS9. The quality of the movies was, these are action films. These are not thought provoking.
Yeah,
And
and
I understand why they do that for movies, and I understand why the actors want to do more action than
uh-huh.
cerebral because it's just fun to drive a doom buggy.
Yeah, it's Ron D. Moore said it best, one of the writers for TNG and DS9, that a show you could concentrate more on character and stuff. A movie, it's more about spectacle,
Yeah,
and
they're different media,
yeah, it's different. You want to see things larger and bigger,
and I had spectacle already,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it wasn't scratching that cerebral part of my
yeah.
brain.
Now, going back to this, a fair amount of them did watch the original series, but a lot of them did not
And
like it.
again,
Again,
the disrespect.
uh,
Look at that. If you're like, this is my group. This is me.
this is me. I was like, it's not okay. I could see how it's not your favorite,
Yeah,
but
and it's
it
like
can't be
Gen
your.
X.
I'm like
Wow,
your least favorite. I'm like just
there's
why
clearly
are you beating? It's like I feel it's like visually it's like someone beating up like um, Leonard Nimoy. It's like no, don't do that. Why?
and if they talk about, oh, the effects weren't as blah blah or the series wasn't as blah blah, they literally broke ground by having an Asian dude on screen. All like literally first person you saw on the ship was Sulu.
Yes.
Like that's a huge deal. Like
Now, is it nostalgia that's causing this bias? Quite possibly,
yeah.
but I will disagree with people who list it as their least favorite. It's not my favorite. I have fond memories, but no, there is some very slow and often weird episodes, like the one with the space hippies.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But then they do history with like Nazis, and it's like, oh well, look at that. This is
Ugh.
like emotional.
You haven't lived until you had Captain Kirk fight alongside with Abraham Lincoln. That was one episode.
That was a weird one because that wasn't technically Abraham Lincoln, but he looked like Abraham Lincoln.
That was great.
So I think the original series really laid the groundwork for a lot of other space shows, or was a continuation of a lot of their space shows in that grand experiment. And it's just like, how dare you be disrespectful? So, but everybody just doesn't like
Yeah,
Discovery.
Discovery I think is minus the Silent Generation, their most disliked series so far.
Well, I just think that the Sound Generations knows there's 24 hours in the day,
I was like, I'm
and
not
they're
gonna.
not gonna watch.
They're the Silent Generation's too smart. I don't want to waste my time on Discovery. It's fine.
And because I've seen it, it's like, oh, season 2 is a lot better than season 1. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So, but it's just like, wow, this is the show that they're really throwing all their money behind on top of Picard,
Yeah.
and it's just like falling flat.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's that's a shame because it's a beautiful looking show. It's well directed. I think the cast is quite good. It's just the writing is just no, no.
Yeah.
It's not doing it for me.
So Keith comes to the same conclusion we do.
Yes.
It seems no matter the generation,
Yes.
TNG and DS9 reign supreme as Trek fan favorites.
Yes. And
Uh, and best written show
best
because
written. I did not expect this.
that's
I
why I claimed DS9 is my favorite because it is the best written.
yeah. Yeah,
And
even back then they knew.
yeah,
They knew. Like you should see the like the clips from the cast party at the end. It's like so we had a 7-year run. Clearly we were the best written show.
yeah, they had a series instead of a serialization, where it's just like, oh yeah, these are just stories that are happening together. No, this is a whole series, and it's like
Yeah,
it's
and
serialized.
they tell an amazing story.
Yeah, and you have real growth in the characters. Uh, Pale Moonlight, I think, is a shining example of what science fiction or science fantasy, right? Because I know science fiction. I'm going to stand hard on that.
Yeah, it's science fiction.
Yeah. Uh, that this is like pinnacle writing of character development and that turn that I don't want to spoil, even though it's like 30 years old.
Okay, you know what? If you haven't watched DS9, watch DS9. Get up to the episode Pale Moonlight. You'll know what he's talking about because it's one hell of an episode.
Best written show for sci-fi, um, for me anyway,
Yeah,
and it's right up there with All Good Things
yeah.
in terms of the writing and the
Now,
emotional connection.
now again, this is a little skewed because over half of the participants are millennials.
Yeah,
2,000 people out of the
3,500 give or take.
3,500. So, of course, things would skew more towards DS9 and TNG.
But TNG is less than half of it.
Yeah, less than half. All
Only at
right.
24.6%. And I believe that season 6 and 7 for TNG, where it was just like, oh, why are you eating Diana Troy cake?
Yeah, the seventh season. Like I gotta give them credit. They end very strong with all good things, which
Yes,
is one of
they landed the series. They
yeah.
landed the plane.
It's like holy crap! If there was ever a great series finale, that would be it.
Yeah.
Just summing up all the feelings, the nostalgia, and past,
And
present, and future.
and not forgetting Q. Woo!
Yeah, it's just amazing amount of callbacks. But the seventh season overall is not the strongest. Oh my god, the candle episode with Beverly Crusher. I think you spelled Deanna.
Oh, how do I spell it?
Just erase. Just erase.
Trio.
Just erase. Yeah, you spelled a lot of things wrong.
I did. I put trio. What is it? TR.
TROI.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
My finger slipped.
So yeah, just go to images. So yeah, they just do
Thank
an
you,
episode.
Pinterest.
I think it's just they know it's their last season. It's like, all right, we're just gonna do stuff now. Hey, Picard. Picard has a kid now. All right, and he's not really a kid. Don't worry about it.
Like, she's a cake.
Yeah, she's a cake.
Holding candle. And there's this episode with this crazy old lady.
Yeah, the Sub Rosa.
Yep.
Famous episode. Yeah, there's some weird
Weirdness.
gothic weirdness going on with this one.
Yeah. So this is why they get the demerits, and you
Yeah.
don't have that with DS9.
Yeah,
Because even
DS
even the wacky episodes are fun.
Yeah, DS9 doesn't have the strongest beginning, but it's still better than, the first two seasons of DS9. But yeah, oh my god, the seventh season.
Yeah, like 7th season. This is a throwaway episode, and it is amazing.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Um, Odo, I'm gonna butcher the actor's name. Aubrey Dubois.
Rene Aubergenois.
Thank you. Uh, as a baseball fan, it's like, oh my God, Odo knows how to be an umpire, and it just makes me so happy that you know how to be an umpire, Odo. Oh,
Yeah.
and this was a throwaway episode where they like do nothing.
Well, here's the thing. Like DS9 is overall a pretty dark show. So every now and then they just have these really hilarious episodes, and it's like,
Because we need them.
let's just do a baseball episode. I'm like, yeah, we'll just
And the thing is, they set that up in the first episode of the series
yeah, because Cisco loves baseball, and it's like it was inevitable. They have to have a baseball
yep.
episode.
Love it. So again, totally deserved. Now, I'm just really surprised how
Look at that. That's like a rainbow. It's a spectrum. It's like,
yeah. I'm just really surprised how Enterprise got a vote.
Enterprise got a vote.
It's like, all right,
All right.
I could see your color. Good job.
Cool. All right. Great.
And the last thing that they asked is, how many series have you watched to completion? 1 through 7, and it's a pretty good spread.
Yeah, it's all around.
You know,
Yeah.
the people who responded actually the least amount of people who responded to the survey never finished the series, and it's like this is actually the best response you could have because
Yeah.
this means they've all seen at least one.
Yeah, there are a lot of episodes. Yeah, sure.
But
You know.
but at least like a super majority have seen at least one season, one series to completion.
Yeah.
I think I'm in the 3 or 4 range, or technically it's 5 because I've seen every episode of Discovery
Yes.
and I've seen every episode of Picard.
Yes. Because there are only so many. Yeah.
Exactly, and then we have TNG, DS9, and Voyager.
Yes.
So, so I'm at 3 or 5. How about you, Carlos?
Yeah, probably a 3 because I'm pretty sure I haven't seen all of Voyager. I'm a little sketchy on the first 2 seasons.
As you should be.
Let's see. I've probably seen all of DS9, although I can't recall every episode. And let's see. Oh yeah, I've seen all of Discovery and all of Picard, but we're not going to count those right now.
Okay, so you've seen
But
2 to 3.
Yeah, 2 to 3, maybe 4 if you want to count the later ones, but like there are not a lot of episodes out, so.
Yeah. So we're on the lower end of the spectrum
Yeah.
because I mean, let's see. This doesn't have a percentile, so that's less than 8%. I'm assuming
Mhm.
because 9.3% is highlighted for. That's 1. 2 is less than that. Yeah, so it's a great spread, and it shows how devoted we are as a fan base.
There are
Because
yeah.
we have seen at least 50 episodes of Star Trek.
Yeah, there are literally thousands of hours of Star Trek. If you get to, 7, like good on you, man. Wow, that is crazy. That is a crazy amount of Star Trek that you've watched. So,
Original, animated, TNG, DS9, Voyager, Enterprise, Discovery is 7, and then Picard. Oh,
Picard,
wow.
yeah.
Wow, there is a lot.
Yeah. I just have problems just naming the shows. All right, so
Now, if it's unranked and it's just what's your least favorite, a third of everybody, 30%, not a third, excuse
Uh-huh.
me, just did not like Discovery as their
Yeah.
least favorite. And then for me, it's like, of course, Enterprise would be a close second.
yeah. Yeah, it seems like that. Yeah, it's the waning days of Star Trek when the franchise was about to die.
Right.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, original series, that's almost 16%.
16%. Okay. I
Don't agree with it, but
I don't agree with it, but
That's the survey.
that's what you honestly feel. Okay.
and it's just the reverence or the respect to history is just like, no, it's either good or it's bad.
All
And,
right,
and maybe that's a good thing.
My recommendation for these people: watch more Star Trek.
Or maybe they've watched the best Star Trek first,
Ooh, oh.
and then they're just comparing it to.
Yeah.
What if they saw TNG,
TNG
and DS9
DS9
first,
first, and then they go back.
and they're just like, what?
What is this? What am I watching? This is
Yeah, because they're not adding to the story. It's a pullback,
yeah,
and it's like, oh, okay, because that's the only explanation how 16% of respondents.
yeah, and that's yeah,
I'm trying to be on your
that's
side,
that's a good
guys,
point. Yeah,
because I don't agree with it.
I do not agree to either, and maybe we're being unreasonable. We probably are.
Yeah, and then Voyager is just, but surprisingly, the anime series beats it out.
Yeah, and it's odd because that's a show that not a lot of
People saw.
people saw. So and it's still like 12.5%.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Now people have really been just raining down on Discovery,
yeah,
but when you break it down, it's a pretty even split of awesome to terrible,
yeah.
where it's like, okay, more people like it than hate it,
hmm
and most people are in the meh.
Meh. I'm we are in the purple. We're in the meh.
Right. Now, here's the thing. If season 1 didn't exist, and you just had season 2, and then season 2 got better in the same way that this season 2 got better, I'm like, oh, it might be awesome. But just that season 1, just it didn't connect with me. Like with, oh man, the ganglia gland. Ah, that was so awesome.
Yeah. Season 2. Yeah. I oh my god, Pike. Pike is delightful in season 2. I was like, he's this amalgamation between Kirk and I'm sorry, Pike, and then you create oh my god, this is a new Pike, and he's wow the what you think a Starfleet captain is, and it's like oh my god, he's so cool.
I just want to know, when does he. Oh, spoiler alert, when he gets paralyzed.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Because they hinted
and
at it already.
they hint at it. Well, we know what happens in the menagerie in the original series,
And they bring that up
and they
in
bring it
this,
up
and
in
it's
and
like.
it's so sad because it's like you could avoid this future, but he needs that time crystal, so it's like
Yep,
all right, I
he's
guess
locked in.
I'm locked in now. This is gonna happen to me.
Yeah.
It's like oh boy,
But that's what the start. That's what you expect of
yeah,
a Starfleet captain.
yeah,
Now,
yeah. This is
when you break it down to the ratings, it's like, oh, okay. Again, the split's about the same.
yeah about the same, pretty
Uh,
similar.
less less people percentile wise think it's okay, but it's more people thinking it's okay. So it's basically equal, and it's surprising how the ratings and the overall feeling is just basically the same.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so I don't think that's biased. Then I just think that's how the fans are
Uh huh.
responding, and
So this
they
is more
go.
Discovery stuff, how they break it down.
Eh. Now
Of
here they talk about just the ratings of the least favorite show,
huh.
and because this is so new, it's leading the pack. But I think that's unfair.
That's unfair. Only at the time, only 2 episodes were out.
Yeah,
I mean, that's no,
yeah.
no. You can't count that. Um,
And a lot of okay for TNG. Some terrible. Don't get that.
I don't understand how
Yeah.
you think TNG is terrible,
So I'm just gonna step away from that.
and pretty similar to DS9, by the
Yeah.
way. Yeah, but but what I find funny is if TNG is their least favorite show, most of them think it's okay.
Yeah, most of them think it's okay.
Yeah.
And the original series, most people think it's okay.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. But Discovery, man, oh man, people just think it's terrible.
man. And here's the raw data. If you care about that, good job, Keith. And this is just the ratings, and it just shows how uh, kids really like. I think this is the least favorite show, and what they
Overall
feel about
ratings
ratings.
for least favorite show. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, wow. So even if it's not rated well, there's the younger generation still really likes Star Trek. So what this is just telling me is that Star Trek is still going to have a legs to it,
Yeah.
because oh man, they're still having bad ratings, but the audience is like at least 40% awesome.
this is interesting. Ooh,
What's the best movie?
and
We discovered that this is all pre JJ.
yeah, this is before the 2009 Star Trek. The final uh, movie was Nemesis for TNG, so this is all pre 2009. And I would expect more people to like Wrath of Khan over
Which
First Contact.
has 27, and
Yes.
First Contact has almost 30, 29.6.
Yep. But um, yeah, oh, that's such a tough question. What's your favorite?
Oh, in terms of for
Yeah.
mine, it's definitely not going to be the newer Star Trek.
Uh huh.
Um, I think it's going to be Wrath of Khan for me, as eking out um, over. Yeah, I think it's going to be Wrath of Khan for me
Hmm. Yeah,
over the Voyage Home.
I to me it's a toss up between Wrath of Khan and First Contact because First Contact was the first Star Trek movie I got to see in the theaters, and oh man, I remember being 13. It was my birthday.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my god,
right.
I really dug that. Yeah, because it came out in December
Yeah.
of that year, and that makes an indelible impression on me. But then,
Also, you have the Borg Queen just being awesome in it, just
yes,
being played perfectly.
yes,
Ah, Picard, you think so fourth dimensionally.
I think it's third dimension,
Third dimension. That's
three
right.
three
Three
dimensionally.
dimensionally. And
Yeah,
she wants him to think in the fourth.
yeah. Um,
That's right.
but yeah, oof. All right, 1, 2, 3, Wrath of Khan. Okay, there we go. You see, it's just between the two, toss up, but it's like for
Yeah.
me, slimly, it's gonna be Wrath of Khan. But
Yeah.
you know,
It for me, I know it's very slow paced, but as a kid watching Wrath of Khan, that Nebula fight, that cat and
yeah,
mouse, oh, I was just on the edge of my seat.
it helps if you're familiar with the series because Kirk would always cheat or get through things by the skin of his teeth. And the shows were episodic, so things generally ended with that episode. With this one, it's like, oh, the roosters are coming home to roost.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, those people you left on that planet, they're all screwed up now and really angry, and they're after you, and you can't cheat your way out of this.
Yeah. And
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 people die because of Kirk's actions.
people on the ship
Yeah.
die, and it's like, wow.
Oh man, just a lot of people died,
Yeah.
and Khan. Oh, there's a reason why he's known as one of the best villains. It's because, and partially, it's because you kind of understand where he's coming from. Marooned on that planet, and he just seething with anger.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because Kirk was like, I'm here to help.
here to help,
You're
and
not here to help.
yeah, you could have left them a beacon, some way to communicate.
Or you
Maybe
could
send
have went back.
could have went back, send a ship over, but no, you did it. He was just being irresponsible, and yeah, that got people killed.
Yeah. His best friend.
Yeah,
So that's why I love Wrath of Khan, because it's like, oh man, this hero actually has to play by normal human rules.
yeah, and I love First Contact, but at the same time, it's like there's a difference between like the TNG the series and TNG the movies,
And
and
that's
they're
why it's not my favorite movie, because it's like this feels like an action movie.
yeah,
You
which is
have Data jumping around the Borg cube
which
doing
is
his
which
thing.
is fine.
It was fun.
Yeah, and but yeah, it's not emblematic of what TNG is. So
So for me, I wonder why people just love the undiscovered country so much.
I think it's a really good murder mystery. I was like, I adore it, and they kind of an even split between that and Voyage Home, which is just so delightful. Oh, nuclear vessels. Do you know where Alameda is?
So I used to hate this movie, but it grew on me just because you have. I just love this. You just have computer
Computer.
and it's just I fell in love with it over time. I used to
Yeah.
think it was dumb, but I've seen it again as an adult. I'm like, oh no, this is actually really fun.
It is a bit dumb. We're not going to deny it. Just
Yeah,
just give anyone the elevator pitch. It's like they go back in time to save humpback whales, and it's like what?
yeah. As a kid, I'm like, this is dumb, but as an adult, I'm like, oh, the moments.
And you could tell that the cast is having the most fun they've had
Yeah,
in a movie. I'm like, we're just chilling out in San Francisco, doing things. It's fun. I got to tell you, our mutual friend Alex Valderrama, a fine photographer, we were watching Star Trek movies sequentially, so Wrath of Khan, Search for Spock. We finally and he liked those movies, but then we get to Voyage Home, and then it's like, oh my god, this is great. I think this is my favorite. And then he looks at his phone. It's like, oh, I have a meeting. All right, all right. I gotta go now, but we're coming back as soon as we can. And then I'm in the car with him, like, oh, I gotta finish Voyage Home.
yeah, and it's fun. And if you just have fun with the movie, it's fun.
Yeah,
Just don't think about it.
yeah. It's delightful. It's delightful, and it's just yeah. It's definitely in my top 3 or 4 of all the Star Trek movies. But yeah, um, I could understand First Contact, especially when millennials they kind of skew this whole thing
Yeah,
with over 2,000 respondents. So yeah, it makes sense why First Contact is their favorite.
yeah, and that's just an awesome poster with the Borg.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh my god. I remember watching the trailer to this. I think it was like on a VHS of Mission Impossible, and I'm like,
man, Mission Impossible
yeah, the first one.
from 1997.
Oh,
Six?
somewhere around there. Yeah.
I mean, just Tom Cruise has been with IMF for a long time. Man.
Yeah.
Uh, so this was just a reaction to mediums. Is Star Trek fandom generational? And clearly, it is.
Y-
But because of technology, it isn't.
yes. Well.
Like it's a weird split.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really weird, and I feel that Gen Xers, Millennials, and Gen Y, or Gen Z, they're all on the same page when it comes to their
It,
like and dislike of Star Trek.
yeah, because we TNG original, it's great, and then just Discovery, we're just like, no.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
I personally like Discovery. I think it's okay. I don't think it's my
Yeah,
least
I think it's
favorite.
okay.
But
It's again, I think it's a great looking show.
but I do
But
have to finish
yeah.
Enterprise personally for me, so that way I could get a definitive answer. But
Yeah.
that's basically my final thoughts. Are yeah, all millennials, Gen Xers, Boomers, Zs. Yeah, we all know that TNG, the '90s of Star Trek was très magnifique. Because I just saw that Picard episode where he's French and
Baguette, a patch. Oh yeah, no, it's
Baudet.
yeah, no, TNG, DS9, they're pillars, man. I'm really glad that DS9 is really resonating with people.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that they talk about issues that are relevant to this day, and
they talked about terrorism from the terrorist point of view, and it's just like the Maquis.
the
I mean,
Maquis.
wow.
Yes, yes. Oh, refugees, of course.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
it's very important stuff. All right.
Perpetual war. So uh, clearly the best written show, and uh, my hats off to the writers.
Yeah, yeah. They got away with a lot. Yeah, the executive producer Rick Berman. This is probably his least favorite show. He was appointed the new Gene Roddenberry after his passing, and he would carry the torch of Gene Roddenberry. But the writers they kind of just went commando and just no, we're going rogue now. And it's like
The inmates are running the asylum.
yeah, and it's like Rick Berman, he was like, "You're not doing a war, are you?" No, 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 we're not. No, no.
And then they rate the best one of the best war
Yeah,
stuff in the
yeah,
90s.
and I think it's important in Star Trek because it's been said many times. DS9 is more deconstructionist Star Trek. Really, have the standards and the policies of the Federation, but we have to test them, and that's what's important in DS9. And not everyone is a white knight. You're still on Pale Moonlight, eh? No.
Let's just go drinking. Ah, just a beautiful shot right there.
Yes.
So, uh, I'm glad for the fandom because we know who the best written show is, or what the best written show is. So, congratulations to DS9.
Computer, erase that entire log. Thank you very much for watching. I hope
Hope
we
didn't
didn't
waste
waste
your
your
time.
time.